Here we are. Again.
Mike, I mentioned something you said to me to Bryce Harper on Thursday.
You mentioned what?
Something that you said to me. I asked him about pandering, and we interviewed him, and I said that my podcast partner had told me that whether he's pandering or not, at least he's trying, and I should appreciate it. And I said that I thought it was a good point, and I asked him about pandering. We talked about pandering, and I told him that he was going to be my pandering model when I come back to Philadelphia to atone for the last 2.5 years of wearing Yankees hats. He said that it was an interesting answer. He said that he made some comment about like always loving the brand of the Fanatic, which was, but he mentioned Chase Utley's at bats. I don't know. I'll send you the audio. It was an interesting conversation. I had to ask him about it. I couldn't not ask him about it.
Yeah. I mean, it is good. It's good. Like,
sure.
He should. The fact that he gives a fuck
he's trying.
Is good.
I concur. I concur. You were right on that one. It was a good point.
I got a filter in question for the filter in.
Oh, yes. All right.
So this was brought up a few pods ago after the pod, but I forgot to mention it last time. YouTube has the ability to edit videos that are streamed now. Mm-hmm. They've had it for a bit, but it wasn't always good. So
after you're done streaming.
Yeah. So that's why the filter in exists still live on YouTube, but it isn't on Spotify if you're listening to the pod in any other format. I tested it out for a few pods, and more people than I expected were saying, where's filter in? Like, this is why I expect a filter in. But I kind of like the idea of it being even more exclusive.
Wow.
That, like, you're only experiencing this part of the podcast right here if you're live, here in action. And if you miss it, then
it's gone forever.
It's gone forever.
So
I kind of dig that.
We could say curse words.
Yeah, we can do all the things that we normally do, of course. Yeah. But now it'll be gone. So
I think this should be the last filter in that airs on the YouTube. Everything else.
Well, they air on the YouTube. You mean stay on the YouTube?
Stays on the YouTube.
And Twitch. Stays on Twitch, right? It's on Twitch as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's full VODs on Twitch.
Okay. Oh, you're right. You're right. Afterwards, they just do clips.
Yeah, if someone goes out of their way to.
And it'll be on Twitter, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess it would be on Twitter.
You got to be here. You got to be here live.
Not fully gone forever, but more difficult to find.
You got to listen to us at 1.0 speed.
Yep. As it was intended.
As
it was intended. No speeding things up. Weirdos. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is proudly presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS, and brought to you by LL Pavorsky Jewelers, where Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners go and get engaged. Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of the process. Briggs Auction, the official auction of the process at briggsauction.com. And Kinetic Skateboarding, get 9.1% off your first order by using code Dave Silver. On the show today, eat it. Knicks fan co-workers. Sixers win the ugliest game of all time. At least the ugliest game of the last 30 years. Look, it was a win as a win as a win, and the Sixers are somehow in the 6th seed and only a game behind the Knicks somehow after winning 2 games of the last month and a half. So no update on Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey still out, but dressed pretty interestingly on the sideline. Ben Simmons isn't going to play again this year or maybe ever, and lots of other things. I did mention Kinetic Skateboarding. Yes, I do. I always say to follow them on social, because if you sign up for the newsletter, go to kineticskateboarding.com, but follow them on Instagram and Twitter, because they'll have sneakers pop up on there and the clothes that, like, when they're new. And there was one that popped up this week that I liked, a chocolate skateboards and Lakai Limited collaboration sneakers. They're like low tops, sort of Vans looking a little bit, red, white, and blue. I'm not a skateboarder, but I think I could wear these and nobody would say anything about it. Wouldn't look like a poser. You can too. Go to kineticskateboarding.com and use code Dave Silva for 9.1% off your first order. Our merch partner for our t-shirts now is Shibe Vintage Sports, and they are doing a giveaway only for Ricky listeners. They're giving away a 96-97 authentic Iverson jersey. All you have to do is we'll put the link in the description, and I'll send it to CJ. He'll put it in the chat here at YouTube. Just sign up. We'll give it away on March 29th. You get one entry for your email address and another bonus entry for your cell phone number. So Shy Vintage Sports, thank you. That thing's worth like $300, a 96-97 Iverson jersey. Just go to the link in the description to enter. Without any further ado, Amos and the Chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Gaskin, along with a guy who may have led the Sixers in scoring if he were to play tonight. That is one Mike Levin. Big win. I'm sorry, that's a big win. It's a big win. Shitty game, but big win.
Ass game. Filthy.
Yes.
Disgusting. Hideous. Abomination.
Yep.
Really Big Ten basketball style. Hideous. Really get us into the March spirit. I loved it. I loved it. It was
disgusting, but it was
absolutely
a win.
Horrendous. They against New Orleans, which they were down the very funny score of 50-20.
Yep.
For some reason, I can't get out how funny that score is out of my head. They got out physical. They got outran in the last game against New York. The Knicks, which I don't know if you remember this, you and I rang the bell at. They
I do.
got totally ran in transition over and over again and out-toughed and everything. But in this one, that seemed like they came out with an intention. They defended well early on. They only gave up 5 points in transition the entire game. And they forced a ton of late clock possessions. Even when shots went in, it felt like they were really making the Knicks grind them out for it. And what an ugly game, man. Really brutal. I mean, neither team went to the line that much. Neither team shot well from anywhere on the floor. Both teams got a fuckload of offensive rebounds. It was really like 1998 basketball, and it really felt like a loss the entire time. It felt like they were eventually the Knicks would hit 4 shots in a row and break our backs.
I thought we were going to get 10 points from Brunson in a row, and then that would be it.
Yeah. But they held on, man. That's a big win. You beat the Mavericks. You beat the Knicks, you lose to the Nets and the Grizzlies, and you go down 50-20 to the Pelicans before mounting a pretty nice attempt comeback. But they're holding on. They are holding on. This team is, through whatever guile they have, whatever Kyle Lowry moxie they can muster, they are holding the fuck on.
Absolutely. CJ, could you bring up the Hubie Brown quote? It's in the
Hubie Brown has replaced Kate Nala, unfortunately. It's so sad that they lost their jobs to Hubie Brown taking people's jobs away.
By the way,
call the Sixers games himself.
By the way, we've said many times, and we will continue to say, do not put the Sixers on national television. It's really it's offensive to all of us. It's sort of like shoving it in our faces. But this is what you get. This is what you get. This is what you get. But Mike, I don't know if you heard this from Hubie Brown. CJ hit it from Hubie.
Shot clock winding down. Reed's got a launch. No good. Don't count it. Shot clock violation.
Oh, that's stupid. I'm sorry, but I just like this guy. Every game
no need to apologize when it comes to Paul Reed.
No, I'm telling you, every time I do a game, he has a very nice game. He's very quiet about what he's doing.
Oh, he made the nice play to block.
There you go.
Kept
Mike,
right to Sims.
Hubie Brown, Paul Reed's biggest fan. Are you ready to just cement Hubie as the official national broadcaster of the process?
Hubie just tormenting me following me wherever I go.
Yeah.
Love his B-Ball Paul love.
Yes.
Absolutely love it. Unabashed. Think it's great. Think it's tremendous. Just wish he, tweeted it like Charlie Manuel from somewhere else and didn't have to be on a national broadcast 8 days a week forever. That's all.
So, I'm going to do something I never do. I'm going to complain about the refs here for a second.
Interesting.
I'm not a ref guy, Look, all I think is that if one guy pushes your player down while the other guy holds his leg like a tag team, in the 10 seconds before one guy has to get out of the rim,
kind of Dudley Boys style,
they should be thrown out of the fucking game. And Paul Reed coming over simply to pull Dante DiVincenzo away, doesn't throw a punch, doesn't do anything. Why does he get a technical foul? And I would also like to have the refs give Nick Nurse a technical foul for sending Tobias Harris to shoot the technical.
There was not a chance in hell Tobias was hitting that free throw.
Can
not
everyone
a chance. After all that, it's
get
just
outta
like he
here.
missed that by as bad as you can miss a free throw. Yeah, I don't think that it should have been a tech on B-ball, but I love B-ball getting teed up. I don't know. Shove everybody. Do whatever you got to do.
It influenced that corner three, and then he fucking screamed at the sideline afterwards. It was great.
He got tackled by the legs by Dante DiVincenzo. And then, shoved. The shoving was fine. It happened. Shoving happens. You can break guys up. That's whatever. But Dante grabbing both of his legs and then wrestling tackling him to the ground.
That's how you tear an ACL, man.
Well, the broadcast didn't mention it. Hubie kept talking about the push up top and said nothing about Dante grabbing both of his legs. He said push by Hartenstein 47 times. It was unbelievable. I was like, this is the dangerous part, is this one. He's grabbing both of his legs and trying to do some sort of, not professional wrestling, like Olympic wrestling maneuver. It was very bizarre. But yeah, look, Kelly Oubre didn't get worked up at all.
No.
He stayed.
He laughed the entire time
laughed
like
the
a
whole
lunatic.
time.
He had
He
a
stayed.
lunatic smile on his face, like the Joker.
He fouled him. He hit him on the head
Sure.
before, but it's like that happens. DiVincenzo seemed to think it was more intentional than it was. I don't really understand it. It felt a little bizarre to me, but I thought it was in a game like this where everybody shot, 19%. I loved the Ubre experience, man. I loved it. I absolutely
18
loved
points
it.
on 19 shots. Is that what he had? Something like that?
That's great.
Which
Yeah,
was the most
18, 10, and 3 assists, 3 steals. I thought his defense on Brunson was excellent. I'm so
Certainly in the
compelled by
first half.
him.
Yeah.
I'm so I loved Ubre as a defender. Yes, absolutely. He falls asleep and makes bizarre decisions. But when he is locked in, he is a really, really good, really versatile defender. He's long, he's strong, he's quick, he has strong
Down to get the
hands.
friction on.
He's down to get the friction on, absolutely. I like how he's handsy as a driver. He loses the ball almost every time he takes the ball to the rim. And as you wrote in a wonderful article that I think about every time I watch Kelly Oubre now, he's getting to that fucking rim. He is getting to that fucking rim no matter what happens. He is the whole offense today was Kelly, go the fuck to the rim.
A great dunk. A bummer of a missed dunk in there.
Yes.
But a great dunk where he got fouled by two guys on, by the way.
The missed dunk was spiritually a B-Ball Paul move, which I love. Oubre is definitely in the B-Ball Paul school of chaotic good. But when handsy as a driver means he just seems he's going to lose the ball, but he'll get it back. And he's just got such a quick jump that it might be ugly, but he's just going to get it up before you can meet him at the summit. And except for Zion, which was a crazy block in that Pelicans game, which was awesome. He wide receiver high pointed a ball at half court and then dribbled up the seam for a dunk, which was a really nice play. Really beautiful drive and dump down into B-ball, cutting baseline for a reverse finish. He was just great. And they had nothing going on. The offense had nothing going on. There were a couple stretches where Buddy Hield got free. And a couple stretches where Lowry made some stuff happen.
Did we get an update on Buddy Hield? He was smiling afterwards, but I don't think he came back in the game after he hurt his ankle. Yeah.
I think he sort of just rolled it. And it didn't seem too bad for me. But yeah, hopefully he's fine for the next Knicks game. I just really Oubre again, where you can do the litigating him, but at his contract is insane value. A guy like him who, when they're healthy, he has a more limited role, which is catch and shoot, which is putbacks, the occasional attacking a second side closeout, trying on defense. just being athletic and getting to the ball first, all that stuff. But like, there's no minimum contract guy that can do that at that level and also go, oh, like you're our offense tonight. Go give us a shot. And he did. And he's done that for a lot of the games that Embiid has missed and given them a chance. And I've been so thoroughly thrilled by the Ubre experience. I'm never going to quit him. I hope that when everybody gets healthy, everybody gets healthy. He, in his more limited role, does the things he does well at a competent, effective way. It might not always be the case, but he's been great. It's been a great signing. Tobias certainly couldn't amp his role up in any scenario. So it was going to come down to Ubre today. He got to the line 9 times, 5 offensive rebounds. Like, he's just everywhere, man. He's just everywhere. I loved it.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by LL Pavorsky Jewelers. If you want to propose to Kelly Oubre, you go to LL Pavorsky Jewelers. LL is the very first sponsor of the Ricky years and years and years ago, maybe 7 years ago, something like that. He talked us into the sponsorship. He was the only sponsor for a while, and he has treated all of our listeners who have gone to him for engagement rings just like absolute aces. He has been great to all of them. If you're going on Fly the Process, he will be on that trip. He's been on all the fucking trips. LL Pavorsky Jewelers. Over 380 Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners have purchased rings from LL Pavorsky Jewelers. Over 380. In fact, I was in Clearwater for a couple of days, met 3 people on the trip.
Hell yeah.
That were LL Pavorsky people. Mike, an LL Pavorsky person, bought his engagement ring for Alyssa from LL Pavorsky Jewelers. He's gonna treat you great, no pressure, and one-on-one attention. That's why he wants you to make an appointment, not just show up. 2, he's gonna give you a great price. 3, the product is going to be amazing. You know, you go into a jewelry store, the salespeople fucking are on you like fucking white on rice, but not LL. He stays a comfortable 7 feet away the entire time. Look, if you want to get an engagement ring, you want to get it from LL, as I said, make an appointment. 215-627-2252. I say that again, 215-627-2252. If you're one of those millennials or Zoomers, you don't like fucking calling anyone, I get it. Send an email to lee@llpavorsky.com or tweet at him at @LLPavorsky. He is a supporter of our charities, Providence Animal Center and Mama T's Community Fridge. LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
Loved BBall Paul way before Hubie Brown did.
Let me ask you this. Here is a question from Twitter from PJ, who is a longtime Ricky listener. Who is the Sixers' best player when Embiid and Maxey are out?
It's a good question.
I say Lowry.
Best and like most important, maybe different.
I trust him the most.
I think that's fair. I trust Lowry the most, but I think I would say it's probably Ubre would be where I put him there.
So crazy. I'm not debating you. I still think it's Lowry, but it's a wild scene, man. It's a wild scene.
It's wild, man. There were moments. Let's talk about Tobias. There were moments where he was playing well.
Yeah, but he had too many moments. Too many moments where his brain looked fried again, dude. That fucking
the turnover.
The turnover.
Unreal.
Why'd you jump? Like, why is he jumping?
So bad. That's like a high school level turnover.
And then he yelled at somebody else.
Did he? I didn't see that.
He did. He yelled at somebody. He got bailed out. So you know, there's 25 seconds left or whatever. The Sixers are having trouble get up the court. Tobias gets the ball 5 feet beyond half court, jumps, turns the ball over. Luckily, the Knicks turn it over. Then Tobias gets fouled. Of course, he fucking misses the first of 2. Yeah. I don't even care. To me, it's not about missing shots, even though that's part of it. It's the regular, like, short circuiting of what the fuck is going on in his head. And there was also one time where, like, I think it was Reed passed it to him, and the ball was, like, right in fucking front of him, and he wouldn't just go get it, and it got tapped away or something. Like, he just must really think he was getting traded at the deadline or something, or not want to be here. There's something wrong upstairs right now.
The game in those moments when they're having a tough time bringing the ball up the court, it just feels like the game is moving so fast for him, which is not the case of guys who have played in the league
13 years.
Started in the league as long as he have. Earlier in the game, I wrote, in my notes that when you ask him to make a decision or in transition or like a touch pass in transition, there's like an 80% chance he's going to mess it up. If he's just saying like, hey, just drive it in straight line, get a shot up, like he has a good chance of making it. Earlier in the season, he was showing really nice touch on those plays. Or if there's like a drive and a kick, easy kick out. But if you ask him to like make a decision, like make a high functioning thought and then have your body execute it, like 80% of the chance is that he's going to screw that up.
Well, there was a 2-on-1 early in the game that he just the broadcast team said something about the Knicks making a great play on it. He just fucking passed it to the Knicks. I can't believe it.
There was one play where he got picked on his blind side on the entry pass.
Yep.
Just not used to it. Embiid does that also, and it really made me appreciate how good Jokic is at just feeling for that blind-side help coming, and it just almost never happens to him. He took over a little bit in the third. He did like some of his like elbow shit and had a nice drive and a swing to Buddy for three. It did feel like early on he was using his physicality to get a little lower in the paint so that his fadeaways were in that like 6 to 8 feet range rather than 14 to 18, getting like pushed out a little bit more. But 5 for 14, 11 points. He drew no fouls. The only times he went to the foul line were the technical, and then the they had to foul late. It was not like I just don't understand how you're this bad at drawing fouls. Like it's a thing that Maxey is learning and getting better at now. Like how do you not see that other people are good at drawing fouls and you should sort of tailor your game to that a little bit more? It's wild to me. It is a skill to do it, and it is something that you can improve at if you had a trainer that you trust to say like, hey, this offseason 5 years ago, I want to like really up my amount of like how I can use my body control to get fouled. I'm big, I'm physical, I'm reasonably athletic. I should be able to.
Good instincts offensively, just with the ball in your hands, like know how to make people
for sure.
move.
I mean, like, and you're watching Lowry or Brunson. Like, there was some bullshit with the refs. Like, they fall for his like grifting more than I would like them to. Like, he gets so many fouls called on jump shots when he's like. They're just not fouls. He's jumping into people and initiating the contact and jumping away. He's not the only one, but it's like he's so good at those little crafty things that they just don't need to give it to him. And the refs didn't give it to him that much. There were times when they said like, go fuck yourself. But it would be nice if Tobias had some of that, like a little bit of that. Think about it. Pretend something. Fall down. Anything. So tough for BBall for Tobias, but 38 minutes and. He's going to get there. He's going to, his amount of minutes that he plays, regardless of coach or scheme or anything, or team, he's played on every team in the league. And it's like more impressive than LeBron that he convinces coaches to not only play him, not only start him, but like almost always the most or second most minutes in a season for the team. It's Tobias always. And it's because I guess the best availability folks are huge on Tobias because he's there and he's playing. You can't take him out.
He's literally like the only player who has not been sent to the bench so far this year. Buddy Hield sent to the bench. Ubre sent to the bench. Like everybody sent to the bench but him. So and it still has not drawn a charge in his Sixers career. No. Now, Dan Olinger mentioned on Twitter today that Kyle Lowry already leads the team in drawn charges this year.
Great stat. What a stat from our guy Dan.
Which is 7.
Unbelievable. Tobias has done none his whole time here by accident. You would think that it could happen.
We did
by accident.
We did get a call from,
and it's not like not like there were times when I forget who it was. It might have been DiVincenzo or Chua. I can't remember. Somebody inside where Tobias like was slow to react. You asked like. Does he want to be on the team? I think it's like he plays sometimes defensively and his quick twitch reaction times defensively are like he had just gotten to the game and it's like, hey, you're number 10. Like we need you to play now. And he's like playing in like Timberlands and he has not stretched. He has not warmed up. And it's like, okay, there's a loose ball. Go get it. And he's like, I'm not fucking getting that. But it's always, he never gets warm. He is always coming off the street, wearing Timberlands, late to the game as the 10th guy.
We did get a call from inside Madison Square Garden, 833 Lickface.
Hi, Spike Mike, DJ. This is Kayla from Philly calling live from MSG. What happens to Tobias's transition, offense, defense, anything? He is just passing it to who knows what, and it's not all right. But he did play less, so who knows? But we need Joe back and Maxey. Missing them. All right, have a great night.
Tobias, do you know how bad you have to be playing for a female to call a podcast voicemail line in the middle of a basketball game from the arena to ask about how bad you are? Like, do you know how bad you have to be playing for that to happen? Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
No,
Pretty bad.
Shout out to her. She's right.
Yeah.
She is right. It was tough. We mentioned B-ball, but let's talk more about him. Like, really,
You played well. Good game.
a
for
great
B-ball.
B-ball game.
Yeah.
Great B-ball game. Hits both of his threes.
What's his line? You're looking at the box score, right? What's his line?
13.7 rebounds, 4 blocks, 5 of 8 from the field,
Off the bench.
a plus 13 in 28 minutes. And the three's been good, man. That corner three late after the tech with the celebration to the crowd after was awesome. Like, this rules, man. It's fucking B-ball. He's our guy. He attacked a closeout. We watched it, but the play where he attacks a closeout and hits a floater off the glass just after the shot clock was a great play. I thought he played great defense. 4 blocks tells some of the story, but I thought his hands were everywhere. He only had 3 fouls, which it doesn't feel.
And he was aggressive.
He was aggressive, but only had 3 fouls. This is one of the most, like, you were doing a great job defensively, but not like overcommitting sometimes. And I think some of those fouls were pretty weak calls, even the ones that he got called for. Big block on Brunson was huge. And an absolutely iconic missed wide open dunk. I love him. I can't believe Unterberger said that B-ball will do 2 things a game that you've just never seen on a basketball court before. And sometimes it's good. A lot of times it's not. But it's still special. And I just value him so much as a presence. And shout out to Nurse for sticking with him as long as he did. They didn't really go small at all game. Not a good Mo Bamba game. 1 rebound in 20 minutes at 7'3" or whatever is insane. He did have one nice dunk off a Lowry pass. I think Lowry is at least in his head of like roll and dunk, you big lug. But he doesn't. I don't think. If Covington was back or something, I would be like, just start a bunch of wings and bring B-ball off the bench. Like, we don't need you don't need to go to Bamba at all ever.
Bamba is. Let me tell you, if he's not making those open threes, like what he can tend to do in a game is twice a game hit one of those open threes, especially because he looks good shooting them.
Yeah, it's clean.
He'll hit one of them, and
easy release. Yeah,
I'll be like, at least he hit that. When he doesn't do that, he is as tough a watch as just about any Sixers player I think that we've seen in several years.
I'm looking at ESPN to see what B-ball is shooting from 3. I don't know if they've updated it yet this year, but I think he's around 40%. The G League numbers finally coalescing with the NBA. We believe in. I've always believed in that 40% from 3 from B-ball in the G League. I really did.
He's going to outshoot Thibault from 3 this year.
Absolutely, he's going to outshoot everybody. He's leading the team. He's best three shooter on the team. He has all day to shoot it. He gets to think about it a couple times. Sometimes says no, not right now. It was great. We talked about Lowry a little bit, but
he's dude. My only request to them, and I know they need him to play because this is tough sledding over the next month and a half. I know he needs to play. My request is they don't wear him out before the playoffs because he will be, assuming Embiid is back and we have a meaningful playoffs. Yeah, he will be a super important player during the playoffs, and we need every minute we can get from him. He's way better right now than I thought he was.
Absolutely. He didn't play that well tonight. Like 8 points on 8 shots. He was a -14, but like there's just a stabilizing force to him.
Professional hitter. He's a professional hitter of basketball.
He's a professional hitter, good piece of hitting.
Yep.
Works a good at bat. He just gets guys the ball in the right place very regularly. And there was one time when it was either Josh Hart or DiVincenzo, like rotated over, expecting that on a Lowry drive, the ball was about to go to the corner or about to go to a swing. And he just felt that and dribbled it a couple more times so that guy had to go back to his man and then made the pass that he was going to make before. And there's just like a level of overthinking, of outthinking the other team, even as they're trying to anticipate what he's going to do. You know, he did. I have to call him out for it. Mike from Body Bio asked me to do this, and I was going to do it anyway. BBall has Jalen Brunson on an island, and Kyle Lowry comes over to offer help.
BBall doesn't need it.
Doesn't need it, and in fact would prefer you didn't do that, as he said on stage with us at a live Ricky. He comes and it's a soft help. It's not any real help. It's just allows him to make one very easy wide open pass to Josh Hart, who hits a three. And luckily the next play, Lowry hit a big balls three to make up for it. But like, you just don't need to do it, man. You just do not need to do it. You are giving them an open, easy shot. I would rather have B-ball on, especially Brunson, like a guy like Kyrie or, you know, somebody really, really fast that B-ball just can't keep up with, like foot speed wise. I understand, like get the ball in their hands, whatever it is. But like Brunson is a guy that B-ball would be good at cover. Like he is good at that. He is big enough where he doesn't have to bite on stuff. He just slides his feet and makes it hard.
Yeah.
And Brunson, that's why Brunson had such a tough night tonight, is because they put bigger guys on him for the most part. Ubre especially. And I thought, and Batum did a great job on him also. But don't help on B-ball, please. Yeah.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of The Process. Look, when we all get together and have a class action lawsuit against Tobias Harris or the Sixers for giving Tobias Harris that contract, Kornblau will represent us. Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of The Process, the premier boutique personal injury law firm in the Delaware Valley. You do probably hear a lot of commercials on TV and the radio or see billboards for these big firms, these big personal injury law firms. Here's the thing. They're bullshit. Now, like, look, they do exist somewhere, but in the Philadelphia area, most times they don't even practice law. Why do they advertise? Well, what they are is they're just like a referral service. That's ridiculous. Kornblau and Kornblau, you're actually getting a Kornblau. Adam Kornblau, his mother and father started the law firm 4 decades ago, have some of the biggest medical malpractice results in all of southeastern PA. Adam is obsessed with this. He is good at it. And he's not a doctor, that's not what I'm saying, but he has a good bedside manner for a lawyer. These personal injury lawsuits, they take a long time. They're very complicated. You need somebody who's dedicated, who is communicative, who is smart. Kornblau and Kornblau will take care of you. Whether it's a slip and fall, car accident, accident at work, medical malpractice, as I mentioned. Bad turnover. Kornblau is the guy. And he's such a sweetheart that so many of our listeners have reached out about other sort of things that he won't represent you for, but he will give you some advice. He's done it with a lot of people with bad landlords. When I am wrongly accused of murder in like sort of a My Cousin Vinny thing, even though that's not what he does, I'm going to have him represent me. If you think you might have a case, give him a call or shoot him an email. I did say wrongly accused of murder. That's why he's going to represent me. It doesn't cost you anything to reach out, and you're going to get him. 215-576-7200. Ask for Adam. 215-576-7200. Ask for Adam. Email Kornblau, Kornblau, at kornblauandkornblau.com. Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of The Process.
Thought it was I got a couple guys left to talk about, then we can move on. Thought it was a good... Maxey's been out for a while.
Yep.
It's a bummer with the
concussion.
Delayed concussion, classic delay concussion situation.
Yep.
I have a delayed concussion from the last 11 years of doing this podcast about this team.
Has not passed concussion protocol, not passed all 5 tests. That is, we don't know which one he hasn't passed. Is the final one is, why is Tobias Harris still on the Sixers? He'll never play again.
It's tough to answer. It's hard to believe anybody can ever pass it.
Yeah.
But it's been like a pretty good campaign experience. He didn't have a good shooting night, but I do love how often he gets into the paint. There's just something
confident when he shoots, by the way. I'm pretty confident when he shoots. Yeah.
1 of 6 tonight, missed a bunch of floaters. he's got a little bit of a knack to hit these tiny window layups at the last second. Had a few of them in the Pelicans game. It's really just helpful to get guys who can handle the ball and get into the paint and have the wherewithal to spray it out after that. It was helpful that he came back in for ball handling at the end when the Sixers couldn't do much. Just it's been nice. And once Maxey is back, I agree with you. I wouldn't overplay Lowry. I would give Lowry a night off here and there. I've been really, surprisingly, you would think that my expectations for two-way guys are always going to be higher than what the reality will be. But I've been very impressed by Jeff Doughton, who has been really very competent and a willing shooter when he's open, but not forcing it. Just playing solid defense, moving the ball, getting just playing good defense and playing good. From a two-way guy, you don't expect that sort of like baseline, not trying too hard, just doing the right stuff, competence. So I would absolutely agree with you. Like give Lowry some nights off here and there. Buddy, who turned his ankle late, it was really good to see him hit some shots, man. He's been bad for a bit.
Yep.
He had a nice little, obviously 4 for 6 from deep is huge. They lost him a couple times. It was good to see him relocate and get those open looks. He's the guy. The Sixers haven't had a guy that I've trusted to make an open three more than Buddy. I'm trying to think, maybe ever. As far as like what I trust, the release is so easy. There's not much jumping. It's just smooth, easy. Like it feels like a layup more than anybody else that is it. JJ's shot was always so like efforty that I never truly believed it.
Also, he's a dickhead.
Sure. Sure. But it doesn't really factor into my jump shot evaluation.
Sorry,
but
having bourbon, I haven't had a drink during the pod in just months.
No, there you go. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I like him coming off the bench. I think it's a good mix. I do think in the playoffs, I keep saying when everybody's healthy, there's no fucking guarantee of that. Who the fuck knows? But if they are, having Melton come start the game and have Buddy off the bench is a fun little like set the defensive tone early. And then when Buddy comes in, all of a sudden the other team has to really, really account for that guy. They have to change their defense to go, oh fuck, like we have to stay glued to this guy. It's kind of nice to have that option. He had a nice little drive left and then sort of fading mid-range that they really needed in that moment, which a guy like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope does sometimes, where it's just like a lot of catch and shoot threes, a lot of relocation, but he obviously does a little more running through screens, but the occasional like beeline to the basket and then one dribble step in, like I wouldn't mind that kind of shot diet from Buddy. And I know that I'm parodying myself at this point because Nick Batum did have 0 points in 31 minutes, but he's fucking great, dude. He's just great.
Was it great? He's a really, really good defender. He shows so much that defense is like up here. Do you know what I mean? Like that it
length
helps.
plus his length. He's really, really long.
For sure. But like, I just think like his instincts and clearly his studying of what people are going to do and not to overthink it sometimes, like sometimes I'll see a guy on the perimeter with a ball just sort of like going through his legs and doing all these sort of moves. And I see the defender sort of like overexerting himself on defending him. And Batum just sort of stands there and waits for the guy to move and slides his feet. And like, he's so good at that. He's a really good ball player in that way and makes great passes, obviously.
And he's like skinny strong. Like he can push guys over a little bit, which was nice. I would like him to go back to hitting threes. It does feel like he is in a really big rut of missing threes after starting out very hot. But got to call out he had a steal and then a backwards two-handed outlet pass over his head, which a Franklin style pass, which you don't see that very often.
No.
I wonder if Franklin recognized that as a similar move that he does on the court, but he's just a special kind of heady player, and he really didn't start like he was more of a, I don't know, kind of Brandon Roy style mid-range wing, but like not known for his defense at all. And now he's just such a glue guy, such a like smart defensive player, and he's really, really helpful on this team. I just really want to see this team be reasonably healthy. I think that they could be really good. I think that this could be if everybody's healthy on this team, Covington, Embiid, Melton, obviously, in that order. Obviously, Covington.
By the way, precarious for all three of them, right?
Very
now.
Precarious.
Yeah,
very precarious. I just think that put all those together, I do think that the top 9 or 10 of this team is the best that the Sixers have had in the era of this podcast, and I would love to see that team have a real shot in the playoffs. But who knows, man? That's
When
where
I
we're at.
put this in the rundown, I assumed the Sixers were going to lose. But let me ask you this. Here is the starting lineup for the Sixers, and thank you to somebody from on Reddit who posted this lineup. Starting lineup for the Sixers, December 14th, 2015. Robert Covington, Jeremy Grant, Jahlil Okafor, Tony Wroten, Isaiah Cannon. If that team, with those players all at the height of their powers, played this current team who they started tonight, who would you pick and what would the line be?
Covington playing at that time, obviously, still in that era.
Yep.
I do think the score would be exactly the same.
Yep.
Although no, that Sixers team was not that good at defense. Like Okafor couldn't defend anything.
Yep.
Cannon wasn't defending anything.
Jeremy
Jeremy at that
Grant.
stage in his career wasn't that. He was just sort of swinging at a lot of blocks.
Yeah.
I would take the current Sixers team, but it would be close. Okafor Bamba is a real nightmare matchup inside. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, the amazing thing is that team was 1-25 at the time.
Yeah.
So,
This is a really
tough.
big win. Like even just like, spiritually for the guys on the team, like they were down 50-20.
Yeah.
It's such an insane score to be down, and to win like a grimy, like really earn it on defense is respectable. And I think I bet the locker room is like really pumped up after this kind of game to win in the Garden like this.
So a report from Shams over at The Athletic has the Sixers set to work out Kai Jones. Here is the report from our buddy.
The 76ers are planning to work out and meet with former Hornets first-round pick Kai Jones in the coming days, sources tell me. The 76ers are showing an interest in Jones, who was waived by Charlotte in mid-October and has been working on himself on and off the court in the aftermath, and the Sixers do have an open roster spot. Jones averaged 14 points and 8 rebounds on 68.8% shooting for Bahamas in the AmeriCup qualifying tournament recently.
What a place to quote stats from. So the only thing that I know about Kai Jones is the Instagram videos that sort of led to him getting cut by Charlotte. Apparently, the Hornets wanted him to go get some mental help. He didn't really want to do it. I don't really know what happened other than that. It does seem like a Morey signing. What do you, as a college guy, I imagine, or a draft guy in general,
Sure.
you know something about Kai Jones. 6'11", that looks pretty athletic, but that's about all I know.
Yeah, crazy athletic for the big. One of the most athletic bigs in basketball. Had like I don't want to speculate what that was. Seemed weird. Hopefully he's like receiving treatment, is in a better place, whatever. But like he came out of the same draft as Jaden Springer, went to Texas for 2 years, is really, really athletic and really fast. Like if you took like a Derrick Jones Jr. at 6'7" or whatever, and then just made him 6'11", that's how he moves on a basketball court. Does have the makings of a jump shot that could work. Like the form is good. He has hit in the past. He was really considered a very raw but high upside player. He's from the Bahamas. I wonder if Buddy Hield is like a kind of a part of this, as Buddy is sort of a big representative of the Bahamas in the NBA. And it does feel like a Morey thing. I like them kicking the tires on this. He is sort of like if Evan Mobley was wildly raw, like wildly raw. But as far as
something, because Evan Mobley sort of feels raw to me. I guess.
His offense is still raw, but he's a really smart defensive player and really moves the ball
I
well.
meant
But like
on
as far as a
offense,
shooter, I guess is really what it is, and not a great ball handler as a 4, but would be better as a 5. But I think this is the kind of thing that you take a swing on. Like
you have
get
an
him in
open
the
roster
building.
spot, whatever.
Yeah, you have a roster spot. Try it out. Would be nice as a roll man. Would be nice as a switch everything back up. It's the kind of thing where if he got it together, kind of thing, he would be a really impressive backup. Even Jericho Sims on the Knicks is a crazy athlete vertically, but doesn't necessarily move his feet as well on the perimeter. And Kai, if everything works out for him, which is a long way away from happening, he'd be sort of a switch 1 through 5 and run like crazy and get a bunch of offensive rebounds and hits and 3. It's like he's sort of an incredibly raw 5-tool player, but as raw as raw gets. So, but the kind of thing that you should be taking a swing on at the bottom of your roster.
There was supposed to be, according to everyone's math, or everyone was expecting, a Joel Embiid progress report last week from the Sixers, and there wasn't one. My question for you, Mike, you've always been reasonably confident that Joel Embiid would be back this season.
More than reasonably, I think.
Yes, very confident.
Unreasonably confident.
Unreasonable. Fair way to put it.
Yeah.
Has the lack of an update shaken your confidence at all?
No,
not
at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I mean, he's been at the games.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's cool.
Yep.
He's looking good.
Yep.
Gave an interview not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be doing well. Like, I think he's back. Probably the first home game after Fly the Process.
Perfect. No way he could be back for Fly the Process.
Cue. Not even a chance. No, no way.
Impossible.
I'm still feeling good about Joel. Melton, I feel less good about.
Yeah, the Melton stuff doesn't seem good at all. They've been, when they're that quiet about something, when they're like, yeah, it's going to be a while. That's for the Sixers to say that. That's not great.
Yeah.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by Briggs Auction. Now, before we get to the Briggs Auction item of the week, we did get a complaint on our voicemail line about CJ's Briggs Auction selections to 833-LickFace. Here we go.
Yeah, this call is about Briggs Auction and your most recent ad for it. CJ was very nice to call out that lamp, except there are literally a pair of sneakers signed by Nerlens Noel in that auction. It even comes with a Ryan Howard bobblehead. Love you, Siege, but you kind of botched this one. Okay, hi.
All right, CJ, do you have to answer for that?
Botched. CJ style.
What about your botching?
I don't see how they're exactly interchangeable. I think one item for one person could be good for them, and then another item. If I want a mushroom lamp, I'll pick a mushroom lamp. That's that.
How much did that lamp go for? Do you remember?
I didn't win it, and I didn't see the final selling price.
Okay. So what's your item this week? We have I believe it's Discovery Auction this week at briggsauction.com, where you can download the app at the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. What do you got this week?
Yeah, so I have 2 items, and there was a lot of other jerseys that I did not pick. So just to get that out of the way now.
There's a lot of vinyl, by the way, in this one as well. Yeah, I did bid on one vinyl item.
We have this art piece, which is from 1981, edition 33 out of 700. Storyteller, it's called. I love the color scheme if you're listening on audio.
Yeah.
Carolee
Pollock looks like the artist.
Yeah, we got a blue and red color scheme. Very cool. And a nice assortment of fish.
I love the color scheme. Blue, red.
That's it.
It is good, though. I know.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it's got like fish in it, a girl with a red balloon. I like it. And what's the other one?
This one right now is going for 45.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll go a little higher. And the other one, we have an Apple Macintosh SE in box.
Wow.
In box. This would be, in my mind, and it looks in great condition.
That is sick. It looks like from that show, the Ben Stiller produced one on Severance. It looks like a computer from Severance. Anyway, continue, CJ.
Personally, I would love to have this like in the background of a video set on a shelf.
Yeah.
Just, like a permanent video series that doesn't exist yet, but maybe one day I'll buy this and then develop that
wow,
set.
Floppies.
Yeah, but I love this, and this is going for 110 right now.
Wow.
1987.
How much does something like that go for, I wonder?
I guess it depends on the condition. This one specifically wasn't tested, but definitely more than 110.
Sick. The thing about Briggs Auction, you see that great piece of art. You get an old Apple SE computer. I'm talking about an amazing vinyl lot on there. The great thing about Briggs Auction is it's all there every time. Auctions almost weekly, from discovery auctions to estate auctions. We've had a couple of special sports collectibles auctions. I check in once a week. I'm addicted to online auctions. I fucking love them. And Briggs are amazing. You find one-of-a-kind stuff from furniture, clothing, art, all that kind of stuff. Go to briggsauction.com, or as I said, download the app at the App Store or Google Play. And if you have something that you need to get rid of, perhaps, like a whole fucking house worth of stuff. You can't go anywhere but Briggs Auction, a family-owned and operated auction house in Garnet Valley. Send an email to info@briggsauction.com. That is info@briggsauction.com. Briggs Auction, the official auction of the Ricky. An update from the Brooklyn Nets from their Twitter. Ben Simmons will remain out for the remainder of the season while he consults with specialists and explores treatment options for the nerve impingement in his lower back. Simmons, along with his representatives and Nets medical personnel, are currently in discussions with numerous experts to determine the course of action that will provide him with the best opportunity for long-term sustainable health. He is the only guy in the NBA that mentions his agents in his injury updates every single time. It's fucking weird. Like, I can't get over this fucking guy. He has one more year left on his contract. He's never going to play in the NBA after that year. What a wild turn of events for this guy, who is pretty much, even though there was a debate about him or Brandon Ingram, I would say that like it was pretty much not consensus, but everybody thought he was going to go number one. A clearly insanely talented guy who I'm sure he has something physically wrong with him, but I still believe that like he is broken mentally from a basketball standpoint and will never play again. And he, you know, when he got traded to the Nets, I thought he may never play again. Now he did play again, but this is as close to never playing again, but you did play again as you could possibly get. So,
yeah, I mean, dude, this just keeps, it's just, who knows, man. Guy can't catch a break, and also he brings it on himself. And like, yeah, like there's been plenty of top 3 picks that have been bad, that have not worked out. DeAndre Ayton obviously shouldn't have gone first. Marvin Bagley obviously shouldn't have gone top 5. You know, James Wiseman, obviously wrong. But it's only the Sixers that could get a Markelle and Ben level wrong. And even I would say Okafor. Like, out of the league. You know, even Bagley is still in the league. It's really special what this team has been, what the curse of this team has been able to do.
If one of those goes right, well, like we just needed one of those to go right.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, the one that truly one went right, and it was Joel.
Yeah.
And it went so right that he is a perennial MVP.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, you know, we had a call on last week's pod, and there has been a lot of response to it in that a caller talked about the Sixers walk up the court song that is Make It Clap. We make it clap. Now, he thought they were saying we're making love, which I think is going to be something that is mentioned on this podcast for as long as we do it. I still think it's funny. I want to go to a game just so I can sing we're making love. We did get a call about it. And we got several calls and several emails.
Maybe this
actually.
is this guy's version of like the dress.
Yes.
Remember the dress?
What color is it? You mean? Yeah.
And now, like, do you hear we make it clap, or do you hear we're making love?
Now, everyone has had songs, I would say, where for years you sing certain lyrics, and then everyone.
Absolutely.
This one is funny for 2 reasons. One, the stark difference between what you said was being said and what is actually being said. The other thing is that you called and left us a voicemail about it. And most people getting the song wrong doesn't end up on a podcast where thousands of people can make fun of you. We did get this voicemail about it, though.
Hi, Spike, Mike, CJ, Daryl. I'd like to address the whole making love, make it clap debate. I also thought that it was make it clap, but that makes me equally uncomfortable because I think that it in this scenario is ass, like you make ass clap. Second thing I wanted to address, something you said a couple weeks ago, Spike. You said gambling companies don't benefit when you ruin your life with gambling. It's the most egregiously false thing you've ever said, and I think you should have to publicly retract it. Non-basketball question, does it matter what first name you choose in relation to your last name? Does it all have to sound good together when you're naming a kid, or should you just name your kid whatever first name you want, not care how your last name sounds? And basketball question, do we have any chance of keeping Kelly?
All right, that's a lot of stuff. Yes, I do believe that when they're saying make it clap, they're talking about ass.
Probably, but there's so many of those kinds of songs that then get, sanded down to be regular, let's get it started is not the lyrics to let's get it started.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Everybody
actually.
is playing let's get it started. at the most bland events possible.
Let's go through all the questions. Second one about sports betting companies not wanting problem gamblers. I'm sorry, I'm right and you're wrong on this one. Like you're doing what people do when they argue in 2024 is just speak outrageously without actually saying anything. The truth is that, first of all, I've been in meetings with high-ranking people at several of these companies, but if you just think about it logically, does a alcohol company benefit from problem drinkers, or do they benefit from people who recreationally drink and do not harm anyone and do not ruin their lives from drinking so they can be good customers their entire lives? The answer is yes, that's what they benefit from. They don't want problem drinkers. Good gamblers for these companies are recreational gamblers that do it consistently and don't lose their lives. They don't want problem gamblers. Problem gamblers are at the very least bad PR, and they eventually stop gambling. So you're actually wrong. I'm sorry about that. The third thing was, when you're naming a child, do you have to worry about how it flows with the last name?
I think absolutely you do. 100%.
I agree.
I mean, I've never had a child, famously, but I name characters all the time, and you 100% have to think about how it flows with the first and last name, because
I think so too.
It's part of it.
If
Otherwise, you can't be like giving your kid or somebody like an unintentional, crisis or a kick me sign on your back.
And by the way, just to go back to the gambling thing, it's amazing to me how many people pick this out but do not pick out other vice things that are legal. Wow. Mike didn't show. I bet you're not using your cam link.
I am.
Really?
Well, we're going back to the regular. We're back regular.
All right. That looks good enough, actually.
Have the backup. Still, lighting's still good.
Nobody.
Maybe it died.
We've been doing alcohol advertising for years, and nobody talks about like the bad things that happen because of alcohol. Or weed is legal now. I don't get any fucking emails about what are we going to do about this. So should these companies, specifically the one we work with, DraftKings, do something about education and limiting problem gambling? Absolutely. But also, like, most people are not problem gamblers. Most people gamble responsibly. So, the fourth thing, do we have any hope of keeping Kelly? I think it depends on how the offseason goes in a lot of ways. I do think it's possible, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm excited. I would be excited to hear. It's all for the right price, right? So it's all those guys: Melton, Batum, Tobias, Lowry.
They're not bringing Tobias back. He doesn't want to come back. There's no way he wants to come back here.
Probably not.
Yeah,
but he did play his entire contract here. They traded for him. Gave him a maximum salary contract, and he just played every goddamn year of that thing. But yeah, Covington, Lowry, Ubre, Buddy, Tobias, Batum, Melton. Some of those guys are still going to be here next year. I would like for several of them to still be here. I think the continuity that a team like Denver or a team like Miami or Boston, just like not having just one guy and you keep cycling through, or one or two, I guess, Maxey, and you just keep cycling through every other role player. I do think that there is a level of continuity that can build if you have even your role players stay for, 3 or 4 years rather than 1 or 2.
Absolutely. 100%.
I would honestly. So I wouldn't mind if Ubre stayed, but I think probably he will get a bigger contract somewhere else. And I think Batum and Melton and maybe Lowry are a little higher on the Sixers' priority list at the price that they will be signing for.
By the way, like I mentioned, I was in Clearwater for a couple of days with WIP, like watching the Phillies. Even at baseball, this is, I think, way less of a necessity than basketball. But it's kind of nice that most of the Phillies players are back. And I'm sure they think it's kind of nice that most of the players are back from a chemistry standpoint, from like a locker room standpoint. Like basketball, it matters much more on the court, whereas baseball, it doesn't quite matter as much. But it's the one thing that we've never had here. And the only player that's here every year is Tobias. It's the only player.
And not necessarily the quintessential role player. Yeah, I would say the thing that the counter argument to what I'm saying is it gets expensive to keep re-signing guys to stay here, and that doesn't necessarily lend itself to a hometown discount kind of thing. Whereas like Ubre had to get a bunch of non-offers from other teams and then had to settle for a shitty one. If they simply re-offer him the same contract, I think he would go like, well, fuck you guys. I'm going to go somewhere else where they maybe value me more. It's hard to get like good value contract at that role player level. But it all, as we've said, it's going to all depend on who they get or who they attempt to get for that third guy, either via trade or free agency.
CJ, do you have that video, the Ubre video I sent you? Do you have that ready? Is that a yes? Yes. Okay. So we got this email from Alex at Rights To Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. I meant to send this a few days ago. I know the box score says otherwise, but at the beginning of the broadcast of the Grizzlies game on Wednesday, they showed a graphic saying that Ubre had 5 assists against Brooklyn. I don't even remember what the bet was, but I feel like Mike should at least get an asterisk of some sort.
I'll take it.
Some sort of credit since it was on TV, which means it must be true.
Asterisk.
So here is the video clip. There's Kelly Oubre. Here's he driving.
That's what
Pause
it.
it.
Yes.
It says
I
6
see it.
rebounds, 5 assists. There it is.
Counts. Counting it.
Now, you said he would get 5 of these games.
Yeah, so that's 1.
Yeah.
So it's good. 1 in the book. I trust this scorekeeper more than whatever Alex Rucker crony is doing it and giving him only 4. I think.
Alex Rucker.
But you got to admit, we're a few games. He is now everybody else is hurt, which is important to know, but he is passing better lately. He really is driving and finding guys a little bit more.
By the way,
I want to make that clear that is happening, and I always believed in it happening.
By the way, it's not the cam link that made your computer. It's the dummy battery. Do you have the dummy battery plugged in?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't have enough.
That's what it is.
Enough situations. I have the regular one, but
Yeah.
I usually charge it, but maybe I just forgot to charge
Yeah,
it. But
that's
look,
what
this
I
is why
was
we got
saying.
the options.
Yeah.
We got the options here. We're
We got-
constantly options on the fly.
We got this called the 833 lick face.
Hi, guys. This is John from San Diego. Basketball question. Would you rather have Buddy Hield or Isaiah Joe? Non-basketball question. You guys shave before or after a shower? I shave before because it's just so much easier to clean up. Thank you.
It's easier to clean up.
Before.
You can't shave before the shower?
The shower because it's easier to clean up.
What is
Are you
easier to
shaving
clean up in the shower?
In the shower?
You can't shave in the shower. You can't see unless you have one of those. I guess if you have a shower mirror.
Sure.
But then he's shaving in the shower, not
Just.
before
I like
the-
shaving after a shower because then your face is all
Clean.
warm and
Yeah.
easy to.
Yeah. Would you rather have Isaiah Joe or Buddy Hield?
I mean,
As a player, I'd rather have Buddy Hield. Isaiah Joe's playing 15 minutes a game.
yes, Buddy can take a bigger role. Isaiah Joe, there's an argument that Isaiah Joe's a better defensive player. Probably is. Buddy's probably a little bit better as a ball handler.
Buddy's much bigger. Buddy's more solid. Yeah.
Solid for sure, but Isaiah Joe has really good range in a way that Buddy kind of doesn't. That Brett Brown 4-point line. That Isaiah Joe would be good. Man, shouldn't have let him walk. Shouldn't have waived him for nothing. Didn't have to do that. Mistake on their part. They will say, and they have said, like, well, it's not that simple. We would have had to sign him to something. And it's like, well, maybe you give yourself the chance to sign him for something instead of waiving him for nothing.
By the way, I think, and we're owed a Morey visit. I think Morey would admit he shouldn't have cut Isaiah Joe at this point. Yeah, I think.
But it's one of those admit with an
asterisk. Yeah.
And it's like, no, but I think that's the issue with the team, right? Is that and this happens everywhere, and this happens to good teams all the time. But like the front office coaching staff disconnect of like, hey, this guy is good, so you should play him over these other guys, or hold on to him in case some guys get hurt, and then we're going to need that guy, and not just go, coach isn't playing him. We think he's good, but I guess we're just going to cut him. I think that's a mistake, very clearly.
So we got this email from Ryan. Now, we did get an email in the last episode about someone who went to a party at an apartment that JJ Redick was renting out. It was JJ Redick's penthouse apartment, and he peed in the bathroom, and he said that was the closest any one of us has gotten to playing swords with JJ Redick.
Right.
Well, not so fast. This is from Ryan. Dear Spike, Mike, and CJ, I've told this story a few times to my close friends, but never felt there was an opportunity to share this story with you guys until last Wednesday's pod. Last Wednesday, you were both talking about the proximity in which someone could have peed next to JJ Redick. I won this competition. It was during Fly the Process in Minneapolis a few years ago. We went to the game with everyone and listened to Rocco speak. After the game, my buddy and I went to check out the bar scenes the city had to offer. I can't remember the name of the establishment we ended up at, but when we arrived, we saw Dario, TJ, and JJ Redick at a roped-off table across the bar. By the way, I think it was in a hotel. Anyway, we are weird like most of the people that listen to the pod, so we decided we had found our landing spot for the night. What comes with drinking like how we had been since the pregame RTRS party is peeing frequently, every 40 minutes or so. My final visit to the bathroom is where the awkward encounter occurred. I went to the bathroom alone and took an open stall. While in the stall, I heard the door at the bathroom open and close. I continued with my business, but midstream, I hear the gentleman at the urinal let out a very large and obnoxious burp. I had a few drinks in me, so I said, "Nice one." The person said nothing, but I could still hear his stream going strong. I finished before they did and began washing my hands. As I was washing my hands, the guy finished his business, and when they turned around, I saw JJ Redick. Immediately, I think of all of my busted brackets and all of the pain he has caused while watching him play defense. I am starstruck. My mouth drops. He laughs at me, but I don't say anything because I don't want to be weird. After all, he is a person too. He asked if I wanted to be He asked me if I was part of the Sixers crowd at the game that night. I told him, yeah, we were up there, and we asked if he could hear us. He said, yeah, y'all were so fucking loud. Then he goes for the fist bump, and I accept. I touched the hand that was most recently on JJ Redick's dick. Non-basketball question, are you guys urinal or stall guys?
So yeah, this guy obviously so much closer to doing swords with JJ than the guy who peed at his property.
Correct.
That he does not live in.
Yeah. This guy has
so much
beaten
closer.
me. Yeah. He's beaten me, beaten you, CJ.
So that guy wins.
CJ beat you too. He's beaten CJ too. Yeah, he wins.
I do sort of a recline at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, but everybody likes the recline.
Becoming a new thing.
Yeah. I am a stall guy, but I'm a urinal guy. But I have to admit, if there's somebody next to me, I really have to pee pretty bad to be able to pee. Sometimes I'll act like I'm peeing and wait until they leave to be able to pee. I have stage fright at urinals. Yeah.
Sure.
You know.
I tend to prefer a urinal. I don't have stage fright. But the worst is when you have to pee it and you're at a urinal, and then as you're peeing, you realize you also have to poop. And then you go from one to the other.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like hitting all the stations. I'm really getting all this bathroom has to offer.
Yep. Before we leave, we got an email. I don't want to read the whole thing. It was very long. He acknowledged he sends long emails from John. John sent us a very nice email about the podcast, but also mentioned that he and his wife had spent the last couple of years trying to get pregnant. And on March 1st, they had twins, Matthew and Christina. They were both born premature at 30 weeks. So they are still in the hospital, and we want to send, they're doing well, but we want to send our love to John and his wife, Madeline, of course, and their two children, Matthew and Christina. Congratulations. I've known couples who have struggled to get pregnant, and it sounds like an awful experience, and for it to actually work and come through. First of all, thank you for the nice email. And second of all, congratulations. And we wish you the best of luck. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I hope your wife also listens to this podcast so she wouldn't be mad that you sent a long email. You took the time. You just had two kids, and you're like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a long email to a podcast.
So actually, part of the email was that, like, him listening to the podcast and being a big Sixers fan has converted her, and she
There
is
you
a
go.
big fan now. as
Okay.
well.
Well, then
So,
she's on board.
Yep. Well,
Man, it is so March right now in a
It
way
is
that
very
I'm
March.
so fucking fired up. I know you don't care at all.
about the
but
tournament.
It is the best time of the year.
Wouldn't it be better if, I don't know, college basketball does kind of suck compared to like 20 years ago college basketball, though.
No, I just disagree. I know that that's people say that, and there's
But it
certainly
does.
like less high level prospects there because
Yeah.
some people go overseas and stuff. Although I do think because
And one
of
and done
NIL,
kind of sucks.
I do think because of NIL, like players will stay longer at college because they can make money.
But they'll transfer more, which means the teams stay together less.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. But I'm so excited for March. The women's tournament is going to be absolutely incredible. There's a ton of like great teams and high level players. A ton of great freshmen. Juju Watkins at SC. My wife went to SC, so we were rooting for them. I have some money on SC to win the tournament, so that's something for people who like my betting interests. We put some money on USC and UCLA. So if any of the LA teams win for the women, then your boy will be making some money. It's just the best. It is the best. Conference tournaments are the best. The first four is the best. The first 4 days of the tournament is great. When you guys are here for Fly the Process, I will be watching as much college basketball as I can possibly muster. If Joe tries to, LL asked if I wanted to get dinner while I was here, and I'm like, man, on Saturday I have to work on Thursday, I have to work on Friday. We're going to a Sixers game on Sunday. I'm watching college basketball all day Saturday.
Well, that's good because we're
bar.
bringing all few hundred people over to your house.
No, I'm going to a bar. There's not enough TVs to do it at my house.
Well, then tell us which bar to go
Yeah,
to.
it's
so
fine.
everyone
We can do
bother
that.
you.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
we'll
like,
do that.
these are my favorite 4 days of the year.
Yeah.
These are the best days. It is psychotic how much basketball I am watching. I love it, man. The men's tournament, the women's tournament, it's going to be great. This is just, I become so happy all the time. I wake up, I just start clapping. I wake up like I'm clapping like I'm like a walk-on on the bench. I'm just fired up all the time. This is the best month. I'm happy to be here. Let's make some memories together. Let's make some beautiful magic.
CJ, you're on the trip, right? We should do a podcast in the same room, shouldn't we? On Saturday morning rather than on the internet?
Got to be early Saturday morning.
Yeah, let's just drive.
First game is going to tip at like 9:30. So
can we drive to your house? Are we allowed to drive to your house and do the podcast there?
I'm trying to think where it would be for setup.
Or maybe
we all
in
sit in this same Zoom box.
Maybe in a park somewhere.
Over here.
That way we just record it. Can we sit on a bench and do it on a bench somewhere?
We'll talk about it.
That sounds so peaceful. I'm all for.
Oh, outdoorsy CJ.
Yeah.
Freaking just wants to wear his outdoor fits. Ridiculous.
Okay. Well, we will see it. Fly the Process. We'll find out where Mike's watching games and we'll all invade it. And then Fly the Process is going to be fun. So we have the Knicks again on Tuesday. We're going to get just fucking obliterated in that game, I think.
I think that's probably right. But splitting is great. This is a great win. A great, grimy, throwback, disgusting, defensive-minded win. One of the best. Like, obviously they missed shots, but really one of the best defensive efforts of a non-Embiid game that we've seen. And I am impressed by it, and I want to commend them for it after a bunch of stinkers.
And then the Bucks on Thursday, right? Yeah. And then
that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it'll go great. We will talk to you Thursday night. Are you done with TTP?
Yeah. No. Lick face.